was, thank you for tuning in. If you're tuning in live, appreciate it. If you're watching later, that's great. So we are here. I'm Liz DeBoer-Kreider. This is my mom,
Margie DeBoer. And
we are here inspired by the Chemo Care Pouch campaign that was started by Krista Casper. She is a wonderful person, and I met her about a year ago. She has a foundation called the Mama Mare Breast Cancer Foundation. She lost her mother to breast cancer and started the foundation to try to raise money, and she's done a fabulous job. There's tons of events that she holds with the foundation, but to raise money for cancer research. One of the big projects that she does is the Chemo Care Pouch campaign, where she has been doing it for a few years and has reached out. She's also a unique presenter for a unique makeup line and face products, which is made out of I don't really know. It's just good for your face. It's free of parabens and very natural product, which is important when you're trying not to get cancer. So she actually has a huge team of people on her unique team who helped this year with donating tons and tons and tons of stuff to make these chemo care pouches that she sends out to individuals going through treatment for cancer, not just breast cancer, but a lot of all different kinds of cancers. So I was asked by my sister-in-law, who's one of the members of Team Lash Squad with Krista, and to help out, and I thought this would be a great way to help out. So I made these little tip cards, and it's going to be backwards here, but you can scroll down under on Dr. Liz's page and on Krista's page. So if you're a friend of Krista's, it's there too. And it's tips for managing stress and cultivating resilience if you are a cancer warrior, a survivor, and or the people who love and support them. I'm gonna take a little drink of water. And right now I'm gonna let my mom talk a little bit because she's actually a breast cancer survivor. So I'm super excited to have her here with us tonight. If you're watching and you have any questions or comments, we'll have a little conversation back and forth. But she's here to tell us about kind of her story and how these tips may relate or did relate for her. So,
well,
I'll take a glass
okay.
of drink of water.
Elizabeth asked me, she showed me this postcard and she told me she was working on this project, and she asked me about the tips she had on there and likened it to my struggle or fight with cancer. And I read all her tips, and then there was one on there that wasn't on there that I thought, oh, Elizabeth, the one that the one that helped me through the most isn't even on there. So we talked about it. She did add it, and I'll let her explain what it is. But you'll probably figure it out. 5 years ago today was my very first consultation at Fox Chase Cancer Center after I self-diagnosed myself with breast cancer. I went there with Elizabeth, and I think two of my sisters, Barbara and Dottie, and my husband Charlie. We went there together.
Watching. Hi, Dad.
Oh, good. He's there. We went there together, all of us, and sat in a room and had the doctor explain to us what I, about my cancer. Because what I did was, when I first found the lump, which was 5 years ago in October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I found the lump one morning when I was turning my alarm clock. I hit the snooze. I am a snoozer. So I hit the snooze button, and when I rolled back over, I felt something funny. And I thought, what was that, And so then it got me searching, and I felt this lump. So I got out of bed and took a shower, and I thought, it's going to go away when I take the shower, and it didn't. And maybe you could talk a little while I compose myself. Sorry.
No, as you can see, it's a very emotional story, an emotional journey.
But I tried to be strong, so I decided that I wasn't going to tell anyone, and I didn't.
And I'm rolling my eyes.
Yeah, and I didn't tell anyone. I got to work that morning, called the doctor's office, my gynecologist, figuring, oh, well, they are the ones that always tell you go for your mammogram. So I figured I'd call them and say, hey, I need a mammogram. I was supposed to go in April of 2012 for my mammogram, but the day that I had the appointment, you know, you always try to find an excuse to get out of those kind of appointments.
That's Debbie and Aunt Barbara. Hi, Christy.
Oh, hi there. My father-in-law passed away that day, so that was my really, really good excuse to get out of going to my mammogram. And I thought, okay, you know, and I've been fine up till then. But anyway, I called the doctor's office. A couple days later, they finally got back to me, and I said, listen, I found a lump, and I need to go for a mammogram. And so they sent me to a specialist, and you know, at that point in time, I didn't know much about breast cancer, but I figured that's what it was. But when they were ultrasounding under my armpit, I thought, why would you do that? And there were 2 lumps there too, and I didn't even know it. I just thought I had fatty arms, which is kind of funny. But anyway. But anyway, long story short, I had the ultrasound, and a mammogram and an ultrasound all in one day, and they told me I'd need to have a biopsy done. I talked them into letting me stay and doing it right then and there that day. So never telling my family or anyone, except for my friend Jean Marie at work, that I was going to this appointment. When I was sitting in the waiting room, waiting for the biopsy, I called my sister Barbara and told her, and we cried and cried together, which was a really great thing to do. But then it was the weirdest thing. We just started bursting out laughing, like, how funny is this going to be? That I'm going to go through this, and I'm going to lose my hair, and I'm going to, you know, of course I already had myself diagnosed, and with Barbara's help, we laughed, and we just laughed about it.
Number 2... Or no, number 3 on the tip card.
I'm gonna grab a tissue. Yeah, hold it.
Was laugh, and that was, and I'm just saying, I want to say hi to all these people. Nikki and Cordero, Carmen is one of the receivers of the pouch. We're so excited that you're here and watching. One of the care packages from Krista. So. Yeah, we were just no, that's good. You didn't want to cry. But,
no, I didn't want to,
but it's hard not to. This is real stuff, and so we appreciate you kind of being here and sharing it with us. But as Mom said, laughter was one of the things that came quickly after crying, right? So obviously, what we're here to talk about tonight is that everybody handles cancer, handles stress, handles health kinds of things in different ways, but there are some commonalities among our reactions because we're all human. And the idea is to be balanced and to do what makes you feel good and makes you able to fight. So we're going to go through the tips a bit. And one of my favorite memories about when Mom was diagnosed and when she said her sister Barbara, it's her twin sister Barbara, and they are a hoot. And we were in Fox Chase Cancer Center because my dad actually 20 years ago this season, I think it was August, September, that he was diagnosed. He was diagnosed with cancer 20 years ago. So we had experience. We had gone to Fox Chase through his battle, and he is a survivor as well, and he's watching. Hi, Dad. So we're all at Fox Chase, and these two, my mom and Aunt Barbara, so she's on, and if you find that picture, I took a picture of them. They're just laughing hysterically in the waiting room as we're waiting to find out what's going to happen. But we're crying and we're laughing. But laughter is definitely an important piece. When my dad was diagnosed, and I was a freshman in college, I remember I was far away from home, and I was like, how can I help? I don't even know what to do. And I remember researching about what to do when you have cancer, and I'm sending him, this is when we still sent things in the mail, more than just Amazon packages, but I sent a bunch of articles that were saying, just laugh, watch funny movies. So number 1 and number 2 on the tip card were name it and shake it off. And that naming it and shaking it off is really talks about identifying the emotion that you're feeling. There are so many emotions that come when you feel the lump, right? You're denial. This is going to go away. I'm going to take a shower and I won't have this lump anymore. There's a bit of a lot of fear and sadness. And sometimes when you are able to identify those real basic emotions, and that's tough work. It's tough work to do. It actually helps process them and helps you feel better. I'm going to try to read the comments as I go. I texted the picture to Margie. If you can post it in the comments, thank you. She'll look for it. But if you can post it in the comments, try that too, because it would be funny for people to see. But thank you. So naming the emotions, labeling it, that's the first step. I'm a psychologist. This is part of why I wanted to do this kind of a gift, is to talk about how to manage stress. And probably part of the reason I am a psychologist is because of the stress that when I was a freshman in college and was dealing with being 7 hours away from my dad, who was going through the battle.
I remember that memory. Time, the memory of it. We went down to tell Elizabeth about her dad having cancer, and the next week or two she spent going to the infirmary with every little...
Oh yeah, because I'm a little bit hypochondriatic.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
So that was the first time, that was one of the first times I ever sought therapy on my own and found it helpful. But anyway, so I had said I'm a psychologist. Why did I say that? I lost my train of thought. No, that's okay. I was saying labeling your emotions. It's funny, you know, as psychologists we kind of get made fun of for saying, tell me how you feel, but it literally has great effects. It lowers the physiological reactions to stress when you can say, I feel scared, I feel terrified, I feel angry, I feel confused and upset. It helps. And it also helps to then move past it. So you can sit with it and process it, but you can't stay in that state if you have other things to do. It's not like cancer can't take over your life.
Right.
You have families and you have work.
Yeah. The biggest help for me was to keep busy. And we were going through a lot. One of the first things I did say to my doctor when they told me that I had to have surgery and chemo and radiation was, oh my gosh, my son's getting married in May. I can't be bald for his wedding. Can we do the chemo first? You know, thinking, okay, I'll lose my hair and it'll come back by May. Well, funny thing, they don't just do it that way. So surgery came first for me, and then chemo didn't start till January, which meant I was bald in May for his wedding. But I had this all planned out. I didn't just let things happen. I made a lot of plans. So I knew I was going to lose my hair, so I went with everybody. We went wig shopping and had a blast doing wig shopping. People thought, what are they, nuts, you know? But we went wig shopping, and I found a really nice wig, and I liked the hair, I liked the color, and I liked the cut. So what I did then next was Elizabeth took me to her friend
Renee.
Renee.
Renee's
And Renee cut my hair the exact same style as the wig. So I transitioned into wearing the wig without even anybody noticing. Even when I went to chemo the one day, the one girl said to me as she's hooking me up to my port and said,
the nurse.
Usually,
right?
yeah. Usually by this time, everybody's lost their hair by this time. I can't believe you didn't lose your hair yet. And I laughed and I said, oh my gosh, this is a wig. You didn't even notice? And she was in shock. But I planned ahead because I just did.
Yeah. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Kathy. Thank you for joining. Hi, Rebecca. Yeah, so again, your life doesn't stop. So you have to be able to have a space to get your emotions out, get the energy out. That takes us into number 4, which is unleash your creative juices on the tip card, which again is posted underneath in one of the posts underneath this live video. It's helpful to use the energy that you have. Emotions bring energy. With emotions, you know that there's energy within your body, and you need to get that energy out sometimes. Even if you're not necessarily artistic, there's a lot of different creative outlets: writing, painting, drawing, anything else, any other
all that.
Yeah, creative things that people can think of. You can certainly post for the rest of us, because there's tons. There's so many things that are helpful, and just kind of, getting the ability to process the emotion, or sometimes to distract yourself from feeling the emotion. All of these things are, again, we want to try to achieve a sense of balance. Sometimes getting away from the feelings of sadness and pain and physical pain is necessary and very helpful, and so creativity can do that as well. And I'm just thinking, even it's not on the tip card, so I'm just going to go with it, but it's also helpful sometimes to do physical activity if you can.
Right.
Now, there were times when you were on the couch after a chemo treatment and it was
lift
hard.
my head.
You couldn't lift your head. And you have now 13 grandchildren, but then had like 5 or 6 at that time. 7. And little grandkids climbing all over her because she's an active grandma, Grammy. And I would be sitting there like, scared that they were going to hurt you, but you were loving it. And that's another thing is,
the kids weren't afraid.
They weren't afraid. Well, yeah.
They weren't afraid of me.
They didn't like the one wig.
Well, yeah, there was a wig that they didn't like, but that was kind of a joke wig. But one of my granddaughters was...
Hi, Rose. Hi, Debbie.
Was especially...
Sorry.
No, that's okay. One of the granddaughters was especially sad about the hair loss, and every Sunday in church, little Miss Mariah used to pull my wig up and say, Grammy, is your hair growing yet? And But for the most part, they didn't care about seeing me bald. It was kind of funny, but they treated me just the way they always did.
And we were honest with them.
Yeah.
We said Grammy's sick. Grammy has some boo-boos, and we were really honest with them. It's hard. Well, it was hard. They were young, and so we were honest with them at their
level.
Developmental level. Yeah, but so trying to maintain a sense of normalcy, I think, was really what helped us too, and not keeping them away from you, not coming around, was, I think, helpful for them and you, because they were scared and they didn't know. They didn't know what was going on.
But yeah, and I thought of it a lot as it was a support to me. It was a support to me knowing that they were still there for me. But I had such a big support system because everybody at work was really good to me, and I wasn't as alive and peppy as I usually was, and I would be late for work and just couldn't do much. But it was a lot better for me keeping busy and doing that, going to work every day. There were days after chemo that I couldn't make it, but the biggest thing for me was everybody talking to me and not avoiding me because they were afraid of what to say to me. So my big encouragement to anybody is talk about it. Yeah. It does help. And laugh about it, because laughing is unbelievable. My sister and I still laugh to this day. Pictures pop up of the two of us. Yeah.
She didn't post it.
Of
yes, the memories on Facebook.
Memories on Facebook pop up, and there's one we're sitting on a chair and I got a hairnet on because my hair is falling out and I don't want it to get all over, and she's sitting in her robe right next to me and we're sitting there, and every time before chemo, Barbara lives in Michigan and she would come 500 miles to go with me, and we lay in bed at night together, and it was awesome.
Yeah. And the support, the support, that's number 7. We'll skip to it and we'll come back to indulging your fancies. No, we're going in order. So indulge your fancies. That one is so important. Oh my gosh, there it is. All right, I don't know if it's going to work. Is that going to work? Okay, there it is. This is my mom and Aunt Barbara in the waiting room at Fox Chase. This is the picture we were talking about. And they're just laughing hysterically. And I loved that I was able to capture that picture because it speaks just monumentally to how she was so helpful in your coping. I think for sure, even just that you spent a couple weeks at her house. After
one of my chemos, when I was down and out, her husband, Chuck and her, came and picked me up.
Hi Dave, hi Michelle, hi Kim. Sorry.
Went to chemo with me, sat through that grueling 5-hour chemo, and then drove me all the way to Michigan, and I couldn't lift my head. They stopped, and I craved things. I craved food. And I craved barbecue sauce.
Indulge your fancies.
So indulge it. My brother-in-law made sure he stopped at a rest stop where there was an Arby's and got me one of those Arby's sandwiches with that Arby's sauce. It was awesome.
Yeah, and that's perfect. That is what you want a brownie sundae? Have a brownie sundae. You have to, because there are things that you hated too.
Yes.
Things that we couldn't even.
No alcohol.
Oh, no wine. I wasn't allowed to drink wine.
My sense of smell was heightened very much.
Even if I had a glass and then came to your house later in the day,
I knew it.
She knew.
I was a good sniffer outer of anybody that was drinking. We
sacrificed. But yeah, there was that alcohol. What else was it? Do you remember?
Anything with alcohol in it. I think alcohol was my worst thing. Hand sanitizer. Yeah, right. I went to have my chemo treatments, and of course they use hand sanitizer, and it just about killed me. And I used to sit there and hold my nose all through for hours, and that was another funny thing. Barbara laughed at me all the time about that, and but my husband put on aftershave after my first chemo. And I thought I was going to die. He quick opened all the bedroom windows and put the fan on, and just to get the aftershave smell out because of the alcohol in it or whatever it has. But
so definitely do what makes you feel good when you're going through it. Whether it's eating what you want, taking time for yourself, going to get your nails done. We did when we went to the Look Good Feel Better program. That was so great. Through the Breast Cancer Foundation, the Look Good Feel Good program, you come and they have a makeup artist there. They give you free samples of makeup. We did a makeover right there. And it's true, because one of the things is you talked about, you knew you were going to lose your hair, and hair is a big deal for us, women and men, but I would say a lot for us it was bigger, and you feel better when you feel like you look good too. So we did that. That was a fun program. But engaging your support system is number 7 on the list. And the word engage is really important because people want to help and they want to do whatever they can, but a lot of times they don't know what to do, right? So you said, talk to me, talk about it. Ask your friend, how you doing? How's it going? anything you need, I'm here. Sometimes we don't want to bring it up because we don't want somebody to feel bad or say, oh, well, maybe they're not thinking about it, so if I bring it up, then they'll think about it. Guess what? They're thinking about it. Right? It's always on your mind. Away. It's not going away. You wear it like a backpack. So sometimes it's even more uncomfortable. It's like the elephant in the room if people avoid talking about it. Right. And sometimes you might say the wrong thing, but at least you're saying something. Right? Yeah. And I think for people who are going through, for the warriors going through the treatment, if you have something specific, ask for it, right? So for sure there's different, if we think about people in your life, there were different people who supported in different ways. Yeah. You could, obviously, Aunt Barbara laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed with you, which is what you needed, but other people did other things. People cooked food and cleaned the house. Just
it's always nice.
Yeah, sent cards, called, did things, gave you scarves and hats. Yeah. So it's just, if you have something specific, it's nice. Coffee. Dad said coffee. You didn't like.
Oh, I didn't like.
She
coffee.
Couldn't drink coffee anymore. No. Right. I remember that. Hi, Janelle. Love you too, Dad. But so you ask for what you need, and people want to help if they can. Yeah. Number 8 is voice expressions of hope, gratitude, and self-compassion. It's definitely helpful when you're going through something that's scary and terrifying, and you don't know how it's going to end up, to try to find little pieces of hope where you can, little pieces of gratitude where you can. You're thinking about something.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Or I'll wait.
I remember, and I, to this day, pray and thank God for what He has given you, and ask God to help you, because that's what I did every night. I prayed and I said to God, thank you for putting this in my life, because it's here for some reason, and it's going to make me stronger, but please help me to get through it however I can. And I didn't get mad. I didn't get mad that I hadn't. I didn't say, why God, why me? I said, thank you, God, that it was me and not somebody else. And that's how I felt, because I have 4 beautiful children, 4 beautiful in-laws, and I have so many grandchildren that I was happy that it was me. It's so hard to see somebody fight, and I'd rather fight it myself, but I remember all the time. Insomnia was another big thing. I had a lot of insomnia, so you lay in bed at night, and what do? So you pray, because the lights are out, and you can only be on your phone so much. So you pray.
Dad's sending you lots of love. Yeah, and pray isn't on here. That was when I had lunch with my grandmother a couple weeks ago, and I was showing her the tip card, and I was like, you know what's not on here, Gram? And she said, pray. So faith is really big, and I'm just gonna say, even though it's not on here, that and I know Krista, this was something big. When she talked about her struggle with her mom, and her mom beat cancer a few times along the way, so she battled it for a few years. But faith and praying is
the most important thing that you do every day, and you just thank God for the life He's given you.
Yeah. So Cordero's saying,
I can't read.
I'll read it. I do the same thing. As bad as I have it, some days there's someone else out there that has it way worse. Yeah. So again, there's the gratitude, keeping things in perspective. Again, balancing it. So that was a surprising thing for me. Not surprising, but what you said about how when she actually said, I'm glad I got it and you didn't get it, or I'm glad I got it and Dad didn't get it, or any of the other Luke, Seth, Jacob, or their spouses, partners. Yeah, you're a fighter. You're definitely a fighter. So number 9 is breathe. So a lot of times when we're scared or we're sad or we're angry or nervous, like I was a little nervous, we hold our breath and we kind of like, you know, even now I you know, just sometimes you feel like, oh, wow, I'm holding my breath, and that when we breathe, when we can take those deep breaths all the way down to our belly, it's helpful. It helps slow the process down. It helps anchor you into this present moment. We get stuck a lot of times up here in our head of worrying about what if this doesn't work? What if, you know, I'm doing this for nothing? Or what if I die? Right? Like that was a legitimate fear that was there and real. Or we worry about the past with regret and concern. And sometimes remembering that you always have your breath with you no matter where you go. It can anchor you to this present moment. You take a deep breath and you kind of blow out some of those worries, some of those fears, and try to be in the moment and appreciate what's going on for you right now, who you're with, who you're spending time with. You have this time. Any thoughts on that?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, fighting is number 10. So we love the Fight Like a Girl slogan.
Yeah, we do.
We just love that. Hi, Janet. So I'm looking at breathing exercises do help a bit. Having a very active 11-year-old, I have no choice but to breathe at times. Yes, again, and you have to live. Your family is. How did you get your hair like that? Just kidding.
Who, me?
Yeah, Barbara likes your hair.
Oh my gosh.
Hi, Nicole. Yeah, so fighting is there. You just have to keep fighting.
Keep going.
You just do it.
And you push. You push, you push, no matter how much you can't. You just keep pushing because you know there's going to be an end somewhere, and you know, you push yourself to do the things you want to do. Don't just think that, you know, I don't feel good, so I'm not going to. And I remember with Jacob and Aaron getting married and looking for a house, and they'd say, we're going to go look at a house today, do you want to come? And I think, okay, but I hope there's a chair in that house, because it was exhausting. It was exhausting just walking from my house to the car, but I wanted to do things. So if I had the desire to do it, I did it. And everybody understood that, you know, okay, I'm not going to go as fast. And Jackson used to... my grandsons loved playing ball. And every day when he'd come over, he'd ask me to play ball outside with him, and I did. And it got to the point where I had to put a chair in the driveway, and he hit the ball and chased it himself. But at least I was still able to go out there with him. And, you know, I didn't want to say no. So you push yourself, you fight, you make yourself do things that you want to do. And it's good to have things that you want to do. And I went to Michigan and visited with family in Michigan in the very heat of my chemo treatments. And my nephew and his wife welcomed a little baby boy, and while I was out there, he was born the day that I was having my 4th chemo treatment, so I got to see him, and little Anzi, and he was a doll, and, you know, it was great, because I would have done that if I was fine, so why not do it anyway? So my brother-in-law, Chuck, took good care of me when Barbara was out at work every day, and he waited on me hand and foot, but... support system, but keep doing what you want to do.
Hi, Jarrett and Brianna and Amy. So I realized as I was looking at the tip card, which again, it's backwards here, but it's underneath this post, that I missed number 5, which was devise a plan and work it. And I think that kind of ties into what you were saying. Sometimes it's helpful to make little small manageable goals for yourself, set them. I'm going to go play with my grandson today, or I'm going to go visit a friend. I'm going to do something, or even if it's I'm going to get off the couch and walk to the kitchen. setting little things that are achievable and realistic can just help you feel like you're accomplishing something, even if you're really, really tired or down from the treatment.
And we had a hard road during this when my husband sat next to me at chemo one day and had a stroke.
Right. Right.
So up until then, he was my big rock, and he did everything, every craving I had. Don't ever think that, especially with breast cancer, I guess, I don't know, my thoughts of cancer were, you're going to start this fight and you're going to not be able to eat, you won't want to eat or anything like that. So of course I went out and gained 10 pounds before starting my treatments, but then found out afterwards that, darn, they give you all these medicines and things that make you gain weight anyway or maintain your weight. So now it's still a struggle to lose that weight.
But I think you brought up a good point about, so her husband, on a day that she was having a chemo treatment, your second one?
Yes, second one.
Had a stroke. And this is really important for talking to the people who support people going through the treatment, is that you're also experiencing all of these emotions, and you need to talk about them yourself. So you have to do the things we're talking about on this card. It's not just for the people going through the treatment, it's for the people that love them and support them too. I think knowing Dad, he was your rock, and for him, I think he kept a lot of stuff inside. And we know that the mind and the body are so connected and in sync that when we hold it in, when we just hold in that fear, hold in that anger, hold in that sadness, it doesn't just affect us mentally and emotionally, but physically. Yeah. Physically. And I do believe that was a big part of it. He was trying to be strong for everyone else.
And my oh my, how that changed everything.
So he was, that was always his role of being strong for us, and then he...
And that honeydew was had to wait.
So, so it's real, it's sad and it's scary, and it's for everybody, not just the people going through the treatment, it's for everybody who's there. I wanted to, if anybody has any questions, now's the time to post them. Hi, Krista. I'm so glad you can make it. I would love to, that reminds me, I wanted to tell everybody who's watching, underneath this post, I posted it Friday, Krista and a friend of hers, Kathleen, did a live video that you can watch all about her, she's driving but listening, all about her foundation. And I'd mentioned that in the beginning, if you jumped on a little bit late. Krista, who just joined us, is the reason that we're doing this tonight, inspired by her foundation and the Chemo Care Pouch campaign. Krista, we have one of the recipients of one of the pouches was I think it's still on, but was on and commenting before. So they are out and about. Those pouches have been delivered to bunch of people across the country. So again, thank you for inviting me, Krista, to participate in this. We went last week. We went to a little pink dress party, which was really fun. So in our area, in Pennsylvania, a local radio station. Carmen's still here. The local radio station sponsors an event with a few other breast cancer foundations, and we talked to a woman from a foundation called Breast Friends that is, again, has a few locations across the country. One of the things that she said she would have added to the tip card was not only seek support from your family and friends, but find other people going through it and talk to them too, and find support in there. And the Breast Friends campaign, our actual foundation, hosts support groups for warriors and survivors, and So staying connected with other people who are going through it too, because sometimes you can feel like nobody gets it sometimes. And it's helpful to be able to connect with other people who get it. But again, balance is the key. So laughing is good, but also crying, right?
Yeah, sorry.
And we both got emotional tonight, and that's real. Yeah. And so I think that's it. So we're so happy that you joined us. Please share this because I think we all know somebody who has either been through cancer or is going through treatment right now, whether it's breast cancer or whatever. This we did timed for the theme of breast cancer awareness, which was last month. And obviously, if you know, through listening and watching, cancer has touched our family way before this, even before Dad had cancer. We have had
my father.
Your dad died of cancer. We have had cousins who are survivors, James and Eric.
Yeah. Leukemia and Wilms tumor. James had a leukemia and Eric Wilms tumor.
So we all know someone. So please share the video if you think it would be helpful for anyone going through it or had survived it or people who love and support them. Okay. So